Hi, welcome back to Narrative Nexus. In this video, we'll be discussing the plot of a Japanese fantasy series titled My Undead Yokai Girlfriend. The story follows a nerdy college student who ends up in a relationship with a woman who is actually a fox demon in disguise. But why would this student choose to date such a person, and what kind of threats loom over their relationship? Let's dive into the story to find out. But before we get into the plot, I'd like to remind you once again that this content contains full spoiler alert. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, guys. Without further ado, let's dive straight into the plot. The story begins with the everyday life of a college student named Hachi. Hachi is a shy, socially awkward gamer who often lacks confidence and gets easily nervous. Because of his tendency to sweat excessively when he gets anxious, he frequently becomes the target of teasing from his classmates. After a gaming session with his friends, Hachi leaves. Accompanied by his friend Yanagi, who is always there to support and encourage Hachi, Hachi is able to stay calm in the face of the bullying from his classmates. Sometime later, Hachi receives news from Yanagi about a fellow student named Koki, who has mysteriously disappeared in the campus library. As of now, Koki remains missing, and the case is under investigation by the police. Yanagi then shows Hachi a photo that Koki had uploaded to social media. Before he disappeared, Koki had posted a photo on his social media. The photo contained mysterious writing that appeared to be part of a ritual chant, along with an image of a woman with magical powers. Since the ritual was believed to help summon a romantic partner, Hachi, who was tired of being single, decided to try it out. He followed the instructions, using the prescribed chant. To make a long story short, Hachi used his own blood to perform the ritual, chanting the words to complete the process.
Tersebut.
The next day, suddenly, a woman appeared from a portal.
Perempuan muncul dari sebuah portal dan langsung mendekati Hachi.
She immediately approached Hachi. Unlike women of today, she wore armor typical of the medieval era and even carried a sword. Due to these oddities, Hachi concluded that Izzy must have appeared as a result of the chant and ritual he performed the night before. After they were introduced, Izzy suddenly requested to have an intimate relationship with Hachi, explaining that without it, she would vanish from this world. Confused by the situation, Hachi panicked and ran away from Izzy, heading back to his home. However, when Hachi got home, while Hachi was in his room, Izzy could reappear thanks to his teleportation abilities.
Teleportasinya.
Izzy kemudian menjelaskan bahwa mantra dan ritual yang digunakan oleh allowing Izzy to enter Hachi's world. Despite Izzy's romantic advances, Hachi introduced Yanagi. Upon seeing Yanagi, Izzy immediately suspected her of being a powerful sorceress due to her appearance and a picture of a chef they had seen. As time went on, Izzy grew frustrated because Hachi continuously rejected her advances. Because of this, Izzy accepted an invitation to a party from Masato, a mischievous friend of Hachi. Her goal was to find a man who would fulfill her desires. Izzy ultimately went to Masato's party, which was actually thrown by his wealthy cousin Hayato. Worried about Izzy, Hachi decided to go to the party despite Masato's objections. At the same time, Yanagi, Ari's friend, was trying to find out who the magical woman was, whose appearance matched Izzy. This search revealed that Izzy was actually a yokai, a supernatural being from ancient times, specifically a fox demon. The demon fox desires to engage intimately with the man who summoned it, intending to restore its power. Once they have an intimate encounter, the summoner unknowingly forms a bond with the demon fox. This bond is said to drain the summoner's spiritual energy, leaving him dependent on the demon fox to stay close in order to preserve his life. Yanagi, having learned a shocking truth, rushed to Hayato's party to warn Hachi. Unfortunately, Hachi had already engaged with Izzy in a compromising way. Upon revealing Izzy's true nature, Hachi and Yanagi searched for her amidst the party chaos. Meanwhile, Izzy was about to kill Hayato, who was a descendant of the Eponi clan, a group that guarded a powerful seal related to Izzy's world. Izzy viewed this clan as her enemies. Hachi and Yanagi were horrified to discover Izzy had already killed Hayato by beheading him. A few hours later, the scene of Hayato's murder was investigated by a police detective named Yokai, who was actually Hachi. During this investigation, Yokai brought his subordinate, Suzuki, along. Upon examining the body, they noticed that Hayato's blood had solidified and his head was missing. Suzuki theorized that the murder was connected to magic. He rejected Suzuki's theory because he prioritized a scientific approach, while a suspicious man appeared during the ongoing crime scene investigation, disguised as a forensic officer. It turned out that the man named Tenkai was a supernatural creature hunter, like Izzy, with magical powers. Stealthily, Tenkai managed to discover that Hayato had been killed by Izzy. Now, Tenkai is trying to hunt down Izzy to complete his mission, while Izzy escapes with Hachi and Yanagi from the crime scene to Hachi's room using his teleportation abilities. Upon realizing how dangerous I was, Yanagi became frightened and decided to leave Hachi. Before leaving, Yanagi whispered to Hachi to ask his father to capture Izzy. With senses surpassing those of a normal human, I was able to hear Yanagi's whisper. Eventually, I threatened to attack Hachi if he dared to report to his father. Then, Hachi was forced to keep Hayato's head in his room's fridge to maintain Izzy's peace of mind. Additionally, Hachi tried to hide Izzy from his family to prevent the situation from getting even more complicated. The next morning, Hachi woke up after being intimate with Izzy for the second time the previous night. Now, Izzy emphasized that they were connected both spiritually and physically. While out of the house with Izzy, Hachi tried to distance himself due to his fear of Izzy's cold and cruel behavior. However, Izzy warns that the bond between his soul and body with Hachi now connects their lives, meaning that if Hachi were to have an accident and die, Izzy would also die. Similarly, Hachi would also die if Izzy loses his life. Upon understanding how this soul-body bond works, Hachi no longer dared to distance himself from Izzy. Eventually, Hachi gave Izzy a phone so they could stay connected despite the distance. For the time being, Izzy left Hachi to prepare for the engagement ceremony that would solidify their bond. Once Izzy had left, Hachi immediately asked Ni for help in getting rid of Izzy. Short story, Hachi and Yanagi finally received information from the campus staff, Arisa, about the exorcism ritual. That night, Hachi and Yanagi used an empty school building as the location for the exorcism ritual. Cleverly, Hachi asked Izzy to come to the site and allowed her to carry out the engagement ceremony as she desired. Soon after Izzy completed her ceremony, Hachi immediately instructed Yanagi to chant the incantation believed to banish Izzy and return her to her original world. Unexpectedly, the incantation failed, causing Izzy to go into a rage and attempt to kill Yanagi. To save his friend's life, Hachi ultimately accepted the soul and body bond with Izzy. He even promised to stop trying to sever the bond, which had become like a curse. Hachi's decision ultimately convinced Izzy to free Yanagi. However, still hurt by Hachi's betrayal, Izzy left, and it wasn't until then that Hachi realized his mistake. From that day on, Hachi realized that he had to accept Izzy as his girlfriend, even though Izzy was a yokai, a supernatural creature of the fox demon kind. Shortly after Izzy left, Tenkai managed to track her location and immediately captured her.
Tenkai.
Using a combination of magic and sword techniques, Tenkai immediately attempted to banish Izzy from the human world. However, Izzy did not want to submit to it, so a fierce fight broke out. During the duel, Izzy was puzzled as to why Tenkai was still alive, considering that in her original world, she had already killed him. On the other hand, Tenkai briefly showcased the yokai power-draining necklace he possessed. Although she was briefly pierced by Tenkai's sword, Izzy managed to steal the necklace and escape to Hachi's room. Shortly after, Izzy secretly tried to treat her sword wound while talking to Hachi. During this moment, Hachi made an effort to mend their relationship, hoping that Izzy could forgive him for his earlier attempt to banish her from the human world. The next day, Izzy finally agreed to Hachi's request to stay in a separate place so that her presence wouldn't be known to Hachi's family. Additionally, Izzy agreed to Hachi's request to try to blend in with humans. However, when Hachi asked Izzy to stop killing humans, she firmly refused, as if she had a strong reason for doing so. While Izzy was enjoying her ice cream, she suddenly became weak due to an infection from the sword wound inflicted by Tenkai. According to Izzy's request, Hachi eventually took her to a pure spring located near a waterfall close to the temple in Hachi's town. Thanks to the magical droplets from the waterfall, Izzy's wounds were completely healed. From that moment on, Hachi was able to fully accept Izzy as his girlfriend. Hachi then reassured Izzy that she could trust him, as he was different from the evil humans she had encountered before. After that, we are finally shown who Tenkai really is, the one who had previously fought against Izzy. It turns out that Tenkai is a sorcerer tasked with exterminating and banishing yokai from the human world. It turns out that Tenkai was also the one who kidnapped and killed the human chef from Hachi's campus, who has still not been found. Tenkai magical powers succeeded in bringing the chef back from the dead, transforming him into a zombie who would obey Tenkai. Ironically, it turns out that Tenkai is also currently a zombie. On the other hand, Inukai, a police detective and Hachi's father, has begun to seriously investigate the murder of Hayato. Inukai then interrogated Takeru, Hayato's father, at his company. During the interrogation, Inukai discovered that Takeru had been ill for years and had suffered from mental distress due to his son's condition. Contrary to what others assumed, Takeru actually cared deeply for Hayato. To protect him, Takeru deliberately distanced Hayato from his life so that Hayato wouldn't continue the dangerous duties of the clan Aponji. Unfortunately, Takeru never had the chance to explain what those dangerous duties were. Unfortunately, Takeru didn't have the chance to explain what the dangerous duties of the clan Aponji were. However, it is highly likely that these duties involved guarding the yokai seal. Inukai eventually ended the interrogation after being dismissed by Takeru's lawyer, Renjo. Switching to Hachi and Izzy, Hachi finally found a suitable place to be Izzy's new home. Izzy then used this place to store Hayato's head, which she had decapitated earlier, because Hayato was a descendant of the clan Aponji Guardians. To answer Hachi's question, Izzy eventually revealed her memories to explain her motive for killing humans and the Guardians. In the past, humans and yokai lived peacefully side by side, but they eventually became enemies after humans betrayed and killed many yokai. During this conflict, 5 powerful human clans, including Aponji, joined forces to guard the seal that successfully trapped the yokai race, including Izzy, in the dark world. Interestingly, the incantations and rituals previously practiced by Hachi managed to free Izzy from the dark world and bring her into the human world. To open the seal and free all the yokai from the dark world, Izzy must perform a ritual that requires 5 human heads from the bloodline of the seal guardians. Izzy then revealed that she had been trapped in the dark world for 500 years before being freed by Hachi. Sometime later, Renjo, the lawyer of the Aponji clan, secretly met with Tenkai. From this meeting, it was revealed that Tenkai had been working as Renjo's envoy all along. This moment also revealed that Renjo possessed magical powers to control Tenkai's body. At the end of the meeting, Tenkai promised Renjo that he would eliminate Izzy soon. Under the orders of Tenkai, who is now a living corpse, his subordinates begin their actions to lure Izzy. Meanwhile, Izzy informs Hachi about an item called Magatama, which is used to identify the guardians of the yokai seals and their descendants. Just a reminder, after successfully obtaining Hayato's head, Izzy now needs to collect for more human heads from the descendants of the clan guardians in order to perform the yokai liberation ritual. To make this search for the seal guardians easier, Izzy tries to find the Magatama. Upon seeing an image of the Magatama, Hachi immediately informs Izzy that the item is in the exhibition room at his campus. Long story short, Izzy eventually goes alone to meet Hachi's professor, Sawada, to gather information about the Magatama.
Di sini Sawada memastikan bahwa Magatama sudah dipindahkan entah kemana dan identitas pemiliknya juga tidak diketahui. Izzy pun lalu hendak membunuh Sawada karena ia tidak berguna.
However, remembering Hachi's request not to kill humans, Izzy ultimately only psychologically attacks Sawada to instill fear of the yokai in him. At the same time, Hachi received enlightenment from a temple guardian near the magical waterfall, who had previously healed Izzy's wounds. Thanks to the advice of the temple guardian named Denomiya, Hachi realized that his bond with Izzy could be transformed into something positive if they empathized with each other. Subsequently, Hachi agreed to help Izzy search for the Magatama after Izzy granted Hachi's request not to kill humans, considering the owner of the Magatama was anonymous. Hachi then came up with the idea of asking his friend, a hacker, for help in uncovering the identity of the Magatama's owner. Together with Izzy, Hachi finally met his campus esports team, led by Masato. It was revealed that Hachi wanted to ask for help from his teammate, a hacking expert named Hikari, to uncover the identity of the Magatama's owner. However, before he could ask for Hikari's help, Hachi needed to finish his practice with the team first. Suddenly, in the middle of the training session, Hachi's team server was hacked by an unknown individual, forcing them to stop the practice. Using his skills as a hacker, Hikari finally set out to track the location of the perpetrator, accompanied by Hachi, Izzy, and Yanagi. In short, Hikari's tracking led to the campus library, where Izzy had a chance encounter with a campus staff member named Arisa, who had previously informed Hachi about the exorcism ritual. Unexpectedly, Arisa secretly has a bracelet. Magic that acts on the presence of a yokai, because of which Arisa now learns that Izzy is a yokai. Next, Hikari's tracking led him to the campus's underground tunnel. Shortly after arriving at the location, Izzy urged Hikari and Yanagi to escape, as he sensed a very strong evil presence. Meanwhile, Hachi chose to stay with Izzy, even though it was very dangerous, as their lives were now interconnected. A few minutes later, the chef finally appeared and revealed that he had intentionally hacked Hachi's esports team server to lure Izzy's presence. On the other hand, Hachi was shocked to see the chef's condition, which had now turned into a zombie after disappearing for a long time on campus. Since the chef could not be cured, two ultimately killed him to prevent him from endangering himself and Hachi. Shortly after, Tenka appeared and stated that he was the one controlling the chef. Without wasting any time, Tenkai immediately set out to accomplish his main mission to eliminate I. He realized that Hachi's and Izzy's lives were interconnected due to their bond. Tenkai then shifted his focus to killing Hachi so that Izzy could also die. However, due to his prowess, Izzy was able to fend off Tenkai's attack and save Hachi. In short, after successfully escaping from Tenkai, Izzy finally informed Hachi about Tenkai's true identity. In EI's original world, Tenkai was actually a samurai serving the 5 clans that guard the yokai seals. Tenkai then became a zombie due to breaking a life rule. Reflecting on Tenkai's earlier attack, Izzy concluded that the 5 clans guarding the yokai seals were now aware of the bond between Izzy and Hachi. Realizing that the 5 clans guarding the seals would continue to try to kill him, Izzy understood that Hachi was also in danger. Feeling guilty about his bond with Hachi, Izzy tried to comfort Hachi so that he wouldn't feel anxious anymore. Hachi also promised to find a way to help Izzy locate the Magatama without having to kill humans. Sometime later, Renjo, the lawyer of the Aponji clan, met with his superior, who turned out to be the 5 clans guarding the yokai seals. In this meeting, it was revealed that the 5 clans guarding the yokai seals are known as the 5 Spears, and this group is led by a powerful woman named Sari. On the other hand, Takeru, Hayato's father, who is unwell, is still active as a member of the 5 Spears because he does not want his son to bear the heavy burden he had to endure. Surprisingly, Ninomiya, the temple guardian who was previously friends with Hachi, is also a member of the 5 Spears. Although Izzy's presence could pose a significant problem, the 5 Spears continue to carry out their main mission that has been ongoing since ancient times. The main mission of the 5 spears is to transform the magical powers of yokai into profitable tools. The series, My Undead Yokai Girlfriend, has concluded from episodes 1 to 4. If you're curious about the storyline of the last 4 episodes, be sure to keep following the Narrative Nexus channel so you don't miss out. Thank you very much for watching this storyline, and see you in the next one. Bye, guys.